Hello everybody, it's June 6, 2013, and I thought I'd change the background a little bit. I know you get tired of looking at that black background. First up, man, YouTube's been playing with my channel, something fierce. They've asked me for a long time if I wanted to change my format, and now they have, and you'll notice that I didn't do that. I've just had to go along with it. You know, there's probably a time limit on when you could keep the old format, but I really do prefer it to the new one, but I guess I've been forced into the change, so I apologize for that. It will be a little bit more difficult as far as I'm concerned to get around on what you want to see. I also could not upload my Borders documentary, which surprisingly has turned out to be something people want to see, and I know that there's a great deal of problem with the sound in that. I was recording in a lot of wind, and the microphone I had wasn't the best. As you know, I've already talked about that, and I apologize, but I can't get it back to upload. So what I have up there now is a video I made a couple months ago called Goats Weave Spider Webs. It's kind of a summary of a lot of different things and a little humor too, so I figured that was a good way to introduce the channel. Maybe you can let your friends know that too if you decide that they need to know. A lot going on, but I'm going to concentrate on a few things. The first, of course, is Bilderberg. You know by now that they have more police presence there than ever. They've actually spent a lot of money on security. There's a no-fly zone over it, and they've done something they haven't done before. They're dealing with not so much the protesters anymore or people, you know, generally, but they are talking to the media a little bit more than they have. They've had a couple of guys come out and say, you know, it's just a group of guys who, you know, financial type things, that type of information. But if it was only that, it wouldn't be secret. These people have their hands in your life every day, and they think that you are cattle, that you are their stock, like, you know, cattle, beasts of the field. They really think that, okay? And, you know, in a lot of ways I don't blame them, and I don't mean by everybody. You know, our culture has really dropped in the last few years. I mean, and I said this before, I go out in public and I'm sometimes just ashamed of what people look like. And that's an outward appearance, of course. It's not what's on the inside, but it's indicative of where we are. And then you hear them talk to their kids, and you know, the gay thing, as I always bring up, you know, it's getting more and more difficult, like I said, with the DOJ situation, where they don't want you to say husband and wife anymore because you might hurt, you know, a gay or lesbian's feeling. Boy, we're just turning everything upside down, and this is by planned design, okay, as I've said before. So Bilderberg is a problem. They're trying to destroy us as human beings, make us automatons, make us slaves. They won't tell you that, but remember, these are the same people. If you look at the list, these are the same people that were the royalty in times past, that caused feudal governments, you know, those types of things. Executed people, you know, sacrifice them, you know, stuff like that for supposed religious reasons, to show their priestly or kingly powers. The same people, folks, I'm sorry, they don't have your best interests at heart, despite what you might hear in the media about them now, and that's only because they're trying to put a good foot forward. My gosh, I went to Drudge this morning and I was overwhelmed. There is so much there. Especially if you look, I might be taken down before you actually get a chance to see this, but I'm going to show it to you. I took a picture of the very front page of Drudge, and I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to put it up there, and I hope, Drudge, you don't mind. I just want you to see this little thing over here and what big ears you have. Hopefully I'm not in trouble with Drudge from doing that, but I'm just amazed at what's on there. Obama administration collecting phone records of millions daily. Secret court order requires Verizon to hand over all CIA, all call data. White House defends it's a critical tool against terrorist threats. Really? Since when? They did a good job on that on the Boston bombing, didn't they? The FBI even pretended like they didn't know who the Zarnov brothers were. Lies. They just lie all the time. No, they want to categorize you. That's the reason for all this. They're categorizing you on where you stand, just like the IRS did, just like the DOJ does, just like DHS does. They want to know where you stand so that when they decide to change this government over completely, it's already done, but when they do the force of it, they want to know who you are. Getting upset again already. You know, it's funny because I wasn't going to do a video today, and I saw this thing on Drudge, and that's what got me. Specifically targeted Americans, not foreigners. Homeland Security now checks laptops, phones, and all those other things based on hunches. Not even probable cause when you're coming into the country because of child pornography and terrorism. Right. They are the child pornographers. They are the pedophiles. The leaders of these things. All you got to do is look at them. NSA sees all. Phone sex, banks, emails, everything. I might even go do a report on the NSA facility in Bluffdale, Utah. It'll take me a little bit to get there, but I'm thinking about that. I've driven past it several times. It's a huge facility. You've probably seen pictures of it. That and the one in San Antonio, Texas, and of course others that we don't know about. Yeah, this will be real-time monitoring, folks. This is not going to be good. This is a violation of every constitutional protection you can imagine. FBI wants backdoor on all software. Really? Privacy? Fourth Amendment? Fifth Amendment? NSA downloading 1.7 billion bits of info from the internet every day. And I talked about this one before. CIA will spy on you through your dishwasher. Remember Petraeus said that? If anybody really honestly thinks that this government has your best interest at heart, that they're protecting you from terrorism, They are the terrorists. They fund the terrorists. And they want to know who you are, where you're going to stand. If you're going to stand up and be a dissenter against their unconstitutional criminal conduct, or if you're just going to go along with their game plan. FEMA camps are real. You know, there's a lot of information about that now. People have finally admitted it. Even Glenn Beck admitted it. It's for real, folks. And this isn't for the criminals. This isn't for the criminals. The criminals are a tool of the terrorists, of our government, to keep you afraid so that you'll ask to be protected, just like Al-Qaeda, which they fund. It's the same thing. The good people, they're going to destroy or try to. And they are already with GMO and all that other stuff that we've talked about, fluoride in the water. It's going to be the Stalinist purges all over again. It's going to be the Stasi all over again. It's going to be Mao. It's going to be Pol Pot. Like I've said how many times? You don't think it can happen by our government. All you got to do is look how they're stacking things up right now, how they're making preparations. And I've talked about this ad nauseum, so I really don't want to get into the details of that. You first-time listeners, you just got to start looking, got to open your eyes. This is really going on. I have a really nice lady who sends me information, and you'll know who you are when I bring this up. Actually, two very nice ladies that are helping me out here, giving me some information. The first is this. A soldier who is being promoted to E8, that's Master Sergeant in the Army, was throwing a promotion party, and a party also to defend the Defense of Marriage Act. Now, however you feel about DOMA, you know, that's your own personal opinion as far as I'm concerned. But he was serving Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Well, remember the thing about Chick-fil-A? They came out against the gay movement, and of course they close on Sundays. They believe that Sunday's a Sabbath, and that's what they choose to have as their day of rest. Well, because of all those things, this guy receives a letter of reprimand. Oh, yeah, we're really not going to go after Christians. No, we're really not. Oh, yes, you are. Oh, we're really not going to infringe on your right to free speech. Oh, yes, you are. You can't even have a party to promote your promotion and hope and explain to people what DOMA is. In the military, I'm sorry, military, that is not unauthorized. You guys, you know, I was hoping the military would stand up, of course, and I knew better. I really did know better. You know, with that Department of Defense instruction that we talked about, 3025, no, I don't look at them as the savior. I'm just hoping that there are people in there that know what's going on. People like retired generals. I don't know of any in there right now that I'd trust with a slingshot. Also, she sent me some information. This is on CBS, I guess, June 3rd. They found some locks cut at the aqueduct in Framingham, Massachusetts. Water supply. And of course, they say they can't find any evidence of any tampering with the water supply, only that there was a vandalism. I don't think so. Why? Because she also sent me this. Last month, 7 Muslim chemical engineers, in quotes, were caught trespassing at the, and I don't know if I can say this right, pronounce it. It's probably in French, Canada. The Quabbin Reservoir. So, I don't know, they may be legitimate, but I do remember that there were Mossad agents that were found on 9/11 celebrating the destruction of the Twin Towers and Building 7, of course, which nobody talks about, which was not hit by a plane. The loss of life was horrendous, and they're celebrating it. I'm sorry, but that's wrong. But that shows you where they really are in all this. They don't care about you. And I'm talking about all these intelligence services. I'm not even sure the Israeli government was behind it, but Mossad was definitely there. By deception, thou shalt make war. I understand they supposedly changed their motto lately, but I haven't really seen any hardcore evidence of that. Dearborn, Michigan, another lady sent me some information that in the paper there have been talks about, don't stand next to places where bombs could be dropped, keep your eyes open, see something, say something, all of this. The Army used to go into the National Guard, whoever's there. They do training, I guess, close by, and I haven't really looked into this in depth there, so this is just kind of wondering what's happening. I'm going to try to look into it here in the next few days. Would go into this particular restaurant, and they always had the door open. Well, now they're closing it. Possible UN troops there. Some other things going on. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's, all exercises are suspect. But this looks a little funny. So just another thing to consider and keep your eyes open about. Remember, up in that area, not far from there were those really loud underground explosions that they heard at one point in time. Actually, that may have been in Ohio. I don't remember right now, but that area of the country has had some really strange things happening. Okay, and I guess I'll just talk about this for a real quick second. Do you notice how all these things are happening and it's getting people very jittery? I listened to Conservative U.S. Prime on his prep the other day, and I want to thank him for this because he said something that was really critical. We all talk about prepping for disasters, and there are all kinds of those, of course, man-made and natural, whatever. And he put it so well, and this is what he said. What I prepare for is so that I don't have to fear. I know I have my water, I know I have my food. That's a good way to put it. We're going to get jittery because we're not ready, okay? If you get ready, that's not a guarantee, but you sure stack the probabilities more in your favor, okay? People have made fun of me in the past for this. I've told you about that. People have probably made fun of you. But the fact of the matter is, when you are prepared, you aren't as jittery. You're still worried sometimes. You still got to watch things. But all of this, like these call-ins from these people, it's everything that's happening is making people jittery, nervous. That's a psyop. Okay, that's to work so that you can, the way the military puts it, is force your will on the enemy. Wow, where did I hear that? Officer Advanced course, the whole idea of the military, it used to be, we're liberty, justice, take out democracy. Then it went to, well, now we're going to have to look at it that we're really are going to force our will on somebody else. And that was a definition I learned in Officer Advanced course, and it's still there. Still in the military school, still in their training. Not standing up for what's right, but forcing your will on somebody else. Wow. I mean, at the basic bottom line, that's true, but to teach that as a doctrine, I think that's a little overboard. We should be teaching that we do things for the right reason and teach what that is. Of course, that's not the end game for any of these military-industrial complex people. Okay, and then finally, I always like to end on something that I feel is important. I'm working on doing a video, like I told you, and it's going to involve some scripture information, not just in the New Testament and the Old Testament Judeo-Christian tradition, but also in the Bhagavad Gita and the Quran and some others. No, I'm probably not qualified for all those, and some of the things I'm going to say are probably not going to be too popular. Because, and I will say this, I read the Quran about 5 years ago from front to finish, and yes, I realize that the translation from Arabic to English, you lose a lot of the meaning. I understand that. For instance, the meaning of jihad, I understand that. In the Bhagavad Gita, I certainly don't know that language. Okay, so I have to read it in English. So there are some exceptions to what I'm going to say when I make this video, but I just wanted to prep it with this. Generally, and of course the same thing happens in Hebrew and Greek. You know, translating into English, you lose some. But I have the ability to go into the Hebrew and into the Greek and to see the meaning of the words so that I understand the concept. And this is the bottom line, and this is where I'm going to go with this. Remember I said God is liberty and freedom, Satan is slavery and death. Okay? Those are our dividing lines, and we could do some other things. So one gentleman said, well, what about virtue, morality? You know, of course. But I think let's keep it basic. Whatever promotes life and liberty is good. Whatever promotes slavery and death is bad. I think that makes it pretty easy because obviously morality is going to help life. Okay, so let's keep it real simple. In no other sacred writings that I have ever read, studied, or found have the concepts of individual consciousness and liberty been linked like they are in Judeo-Christian tradition. And that's what I'm going to show you. Do I want you to convert? Do I insist you be a Christian? No. What I'm saying is that that's why I am so adamant about it. I don't want to go back to the soup source of, you know, the one consciousness with no individuality. I don't believe that that's what we're about, or that what all of this is about. It wouldn't make sense otherwise. Oh, there was a lesser God who made all this, but the higher God allowed that God to do it for purposes in him or in God. I think God is male and female together, but that's another issue altogether. It's actually in the Hebrew name of God. But at any rate, so I'm going to get into this liberty thing again and show you in the scriptures, and there are two that I want you to think about right now to get ready for this, and I don't know when this is going to come out, but I want to bring it out now. The first is, let my people go. They were slaves in Egypt. Let my people go. Set them free. And what's the word? I checked it. Okay, it does mean liberty. All right, not just release from slavery, but the concept of liberty. And then in the Greek New Testament, all right, the truth will set you free. What's that word? Same thing. The concept of liberty, not just, you know, out of your debts or freedom from sin or any of that stuff. Real, honest to goodness liberty. So that's why I'm so strong on that. And those concepts really aren't anywhere else in any other sacred writings, not in that way. Okay? All right. Wow, it took up too much time today. Little upbeat. It's a nice day, you know, nice blue sky, high in the mountains, good breeze. I'm going to go for a walk. Have a great day, everybody.